To celebrate the release of our fall allocation, we had a long table dinner in the hallway of the hacienda, and we were excited to welcome Sylvan from Rintaro as our guest chef for the night. It was our 5th event with Sylvan, so it was really special to welcome him back to the farm and have him cooking at the hacienda. We celebrated his first cookbook called Rintaro by featuring dishes from the book, and today we're going to make one of his recipes, a chicken and cheese katsu, which is a chicken breast stuffed with cheese, breaded in panko and fried. So what I think makes this dish really special is that we're breading the chicken breast in fresh panko rather than the dried panko. You can use the dried panko, but it really is so much better with fresh bread. So I have a loaf of pan de mie, which is just a white bread, and I'm gonna start by removing all the crust before we grind it. So now we have our peeled bread, and I'm just gonna cut it into smaller pieces to make it easier to grind in a food processor. And it's best if you're using bread that's a few days old, so it's a little dried out. The panko is all ground, and you can see it's a little coarse. You don't want it too fine because you want bigger pieces to give it that real crunchy texture. Now we can prep the chicken breasts. So I have 2 chicken breasts here, and we're going to cut them in half and make it 2 separate pieces. So 1 chicken breast will give you 2 portions. So I'm just cutting it in half through the middle. So they're about the same thickness. And then we have our cheese cut in these batons. And this is wagon wheel cheese. It's a washed rind cow's milk cheese, but any like nice melty cheese will work. So to get the cheese into the breast, we're going to make this little diagonal slit, not going all the way through, but just kind of opening it like a book. And then stuff the cheese in there and close it up. At this point, I'm gonna season the chicken breast, so just sprinkle a little salt on both sides. So first we're gonna dredge it in flour, then egg. I have 4 eggs here, just scrambled, and then the panko. So just a light coating here, and then land it into the egg. And now I'm gonna use a different hand, so I have a dry hand and a wet hand, so your hands don't get too clumpy. Make sure it's fully coated, then let it drip off, and then you go into the panko. And here, you really wanna press it all on there. Fully coat it, and then just set it onto a sheet tray while you bread the rest of the breasts. I feel like here's really where you can see the difference in the fresh panko. It's so much like thicker, but kind of airy, really light. Now we can fry the chicken. I have a pan with a few inches of neutral oil in it, and it's at about 310 degrees. And at this point, some of the panko has fallen off, so we want to scrape that off, get that out of the oil so it doesn't burn. Now that I've put the chicken in, I'm gonna turn the heat up a bit because that caused the oil temperature to drop. But we're gonna fry it for about 7 minutes and flipping it over every 2 minutes. Okay, it's been 7 minutes. These look beautiful. Now we can cut the katsu. So I'm gonna slice it up, and this is where it gets very exciting. Okay, now we can have a bite. The panko is super crunchy, the cheese is so gooey, the chicken looks very juicy. So good. I mean, it's decadent, it's delicious. Crunchy, a little salty, it's a real treat.